Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to a tour of the town of Dursley here in Gloucestershire. Just happened to be in Dursley today on an errand, taking a family relative here, some business in the town. So I had about an hour or so to explore. So why not join me on this little tour here in Dursley? So I'm starting off today's little tour here just below the churchyard and the church. We'll cover that later. Have a look at that. Here we have the stream that runs through Dursley. Point in here, now this is a really difficult name to pronounce. It's actually called Elm, and I'll put the spelling of it below. When it reaches the nearby village of Cam, it then changes its name to the River Cam. It was because of this stream that lots of industry grew up around this town here in Gloucestershire. Lots of mills, because obviously when you've got flowing water, you've got mills that can provide the power for those. So there's something interesting down this way, which I don't know the town that well, but I had a walk through it a few weeks ago and I thought, that looks really interesting. Now this part of Dursley here is called the Broadwell. You have a wide space down here, the water, so the stream Elm opens up at this point. Now it might have been used for horses, perhaps as a horse trough, or for maybe going back into ancient times for people's washing. And it says here on this little plaque, it tells you the Broadwell Springs constantly and was a source of water for the townspeople not fortunate enough to have their own well. So if you imagine the grand country places in this part of the Cotswolds, they would have their own springs because of the hills around. So this here is the Elm stream running to the Valley Fore, and it powered several woolen mills throughout its length. And one such mill was used for weaving, making pins, and later bicycles. We'll come back to the bicycle bit later. The water from the spring, there's so much of it, disappears into a culvert, but some of it continues on, so let's follow the stream. After leaving the Broadwell, we then go into, appropriately enough named, Water Street. So you can just see how this would have been a hive of activity. Now it's all residential properties, but going back into the 18th and 19th centuries, this would have been a hustle and bustle of industrial activity. Now you can see some of the old buildings here that had industrial uses, like this one here. I don't know if that was one of the former factories. And there's also a large abandoned building over here as well. So lots of things here. But you have this mix of industry, but also traditional Cotswold stone here. So you've got the red and the traditional Cotswold, which is an interesting mix. And that is quite similar to places like Stroud as well, where you're also just in the Stroud valleys and you've got that red brick and warm Cotswold stone. Now, if there ever was a pointless sign unsuitable for motors, I can't see many cars going up there. So our stream has made an appearance again, just coming out in this direction. Let's just follow it back across the footpath to see where it came out further up where we saw it at the Broadwell. So here's our stream then, well, just in here. And this is where it gets really interesting, just ahead of me. You can hear lots of water going here. And it's this here, I'm now outside front of a mill. Now this is a restored former Victorian pin mill, and it was known as Howard's Upper Mill. And it just says on there, it was subsequently named the Pedersen Cycle Company, and it was at this location here in 1899 that the Pedersen Cycle Company was founded here in Dursley. Pedersen, I believe, was Danish, and he invented his particular form of cycle, and it was built right here in the heart of the town, in this former pin mill here. good to see that the name Pedersen lives on here in the town of Dursley. Now, if you're an avid viewer to this channel, you may recognise the location I'm in now, though I do warn you it was some time ago. I'm currently standing on the Cotswold Way. In fact, this lane is called Chestel Lane, and it leads to Chestel. Well, it's a very large house just on the edge of the town, which has wonderful views across towards Stinchcombe Hill. The raise of the hills over there. Down there is Chestel Lodge. And yeah, it's wonderful for the town to have the Cotswold Way running right through it. And 2.5 years ago, I was about at the halfway point, I think, doing the Cotswold Way, making my way south to the city of Bath, which is about 20-25 miles or so here from the town of Dursley. But this is a wonderful lane, so it's away from the noise and hustle bustle of the town centre, and it has woodlands, extensive woodlands to my left, your right. I had to think for a minute there, and you still got a little bit of autumnal colour around here as well. What I'm going to do now is going to head back into the town centre, because there's still a lot around there that we have yet to see. Now, when you enter into Dursley along the Cotswold Way, which is still what I'm following coming down from Chestel Lane, well, that's the bowling green now, which is this magnificent little, well, I'm not sure what it is, it's like a little summer house, isn't it, just overlooking it. You have an amazing building, and it's called the Priory. It's not a normal sort of priory. I think it was built on the site of a former priory, but it was an important part of Dursley's industrial heritage, and it was the headquarters of a company. Now, if you're familiar with my canal series, you'll know the name of this company, because they're called Lister, and they were based here in Dursley, and they made diesel engines amongst many other things, and they had this as their head office. So if you have a narrowboat, you may well have, if you haven't gone to electric yet and you're still on diesel, you may have a little engine built here in Dursley. So this is the Priory, and it was founded in Dursley in 1867 by one Robert Ashton Lister. It's a wonderful building, still in use today, but now it's the headquarters of a Futura food processing company. Now, we're going to be entering the bottom of Long Street in the moment, but here in Dursley, Lister had a huge factory, none of which remains at all. It's now a housing development, and it's been completely flattened and built over, so sadly there's no site here. But it was also down here where Lister's factory was, and it was down over there where you can see the construction work going on there, that they had their factory. It was also the site of Dursley's railway station, which was at the end of a very short branch, about 2.5 miles long, which came off the main Midland Railway line at Coley Junction, which is now the location of the present-day Cammon Dursley railway station. But yeah, that closed, well, the usual sort of thing, wasn't it, in the 60s. But the station was somewhere down there in the centre of Lister's factory complex. Now, behind me here in Dursley is Raglan House. We saw where Pedersen had his factory there, that former Victorian pin mill, but here he lived. He also had his headquarters of his cycle factory as well. Let's have a closer look at that wonderful plaque on the side of Raglan House. I've now returned back to the Broadwell, and we're going to go up this way and head to the church, which is called St James the Great. didn't plan the timing of the church bells. I think it's bell-ringing practice here on this Wednesday morning here towards the end of November, but lucky timing, I guess, and it's a lovely sound to hear as you walk up the steps and approach St James the Great here in Dursley. Now underneath the most famous building in Dursley, and that is the marketplace, the Market House building, which stands proudly in the centre of the town here. Now, the Market House was built in 1738 by the Lord of the Manor, the Escort family, and their coat of arms appears on the side of the building here in Dursley. Just have a quick look at that now. The marketplace is also on the junction of Silver Street and the bottom end of Parsonage Street, which is the main high street through the town, which is also now pedestrianised, well, it has been for some time, so it makes a pleasant place to have a look through the town centre. The shops will just quickly do that now. Well, that's it for today here on West Country Wanderings, in this short town tour of the town of Dursley in Gloucestershire. If you like that sort of thing, please consider a comment, a like, a share or a subscribe. Until next time on West Country Wanderings, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you on the channel again very, very soon. All the best for now. Cheers, goodbye.